I just talked with some other clients today, and I just want to send this video originally as live, but the live video on YouTube somehow it messed up, and therefore I make this here. I just want to talk about who can instruct. Who can instruct? Sometimes even the NEC practitioners outside, they got a little bit confused. Who can actually instruct the contractor or instruct other people in NEC for ECC? Obviously, it is the project manager. Project manager may instruct. How about the supervisor? How about the client? How about the contractor? Let's talk about that. Now, project manager, obviously, the project manager may instruct. Instruct what? Instruct basically a lot of things. A project manager may instruct a change to the scope, a change to the key date. A project manager may instruct stopping of works. The project manager may instruct the contractor to attend an early warning meeting and instruction to submit quotation, a lot of things. And that is project manager. And that is the reason why when we talk about 14.3 instruction by a project manager, that is not the only instruction that a project manager may instruct. Even though that 14.3 saying the project manager may instruct a change to the scope and to the key date, that is not the only instruction. And that is important. Why? Because when we talk about the dividing date, we are talking about the dividing date that divide the actual defined cost and forecast defined cost. I talked about that in another video. And I said there are different choices. There are different options when we come to this dividing date. One of them is the date of project manager instruction. One thing here that I need to remind all of us here, that this dividing date is the date of the project manager instruction giving rise to that compensation event. We are not talking about any other instruction. That instruction has to give rise to that compensation event. For example, an instruction to submit quotation, that instruction, the date of which is not the dividing date. And that is the project manager instruction. How about the supervisor? The supervisor may instruct. The supervisor may instruct to search for defect. And by the way, if the supervisor manage to instruct the contractor to search for a defect, they better find something. Generally speaking, if they cannot find something, with some exceptions of course, then that will be a compensation event. We talked a lot about that a whole lot in some other training courses. I just put it here just as a reminder. And by the way, in the contract, when we talk about tests and inspections under section 4 of the contract, we say the contractor is to carry out the test and inspection, and that section of test and inspection in section 4 of the contract, it only applies to those tests and inspections specified in the scope. Which means, do we need an instruction from the supervisor to the contractor to carry out some tests and inspection specified in the scope? The answer is no. Why? Just as we have an obligation for the contractor to construct something as specified in the scope, if the scope specifies some test and inspection to be carried out by the contractor's obligation is to carry out that test and inspection. We do not need a supervisor to instruct the contractor to carry out those tests and inspection. However, in one section of that section 4 of the contract, we say if the supervisor instructs the contractor to search for a defect, in that case, the supervisor may instruct the contractor to carry out any test and inspection, whether or not it is stated in the scope. Only in that circumstances. Otherwise, those tests and inspection has to be specified in the scope, and that section on test and inspection is only applicable when those tests and inspection are specified in the scope. So that is supervisor. The contractor may instruct, do you know? The contractor may instruct the other people to attend an early warning meeting. Which clause? Clause 15.2. Clause 15.2 says if the project manager and the contractor agrees, the contractor may instruct other people to attend an early warning meeting, which is important. I just talked with some other subcontractor a few days ago. they wanted me to talk about what exactly should they talk about in the early warning meetings. It's an art. And there are some contractual elements in that. But what exactly should they talk about? That is contract specific. Sometimes if you are the subcontractor here, you may be invited by the contractor to attend an early warning meeting. The contract says it's an instruction to you, the subcontractor, whereby the project manager agrees to attend an early warning meeting. And that is contractor. That is the only instruction that the contractor may instruct. Similarly, for supervisor, the instruction of a supervisor is an instruction to search for a defect. How about client? The client cannot instruct. Interestingly, the client cannot instruct. Sometimes we hear people saying the client instruct the project manager to do this and that. Do not call them wrong. Why? Because there is a separate agreement between the client and the project manager. Obviously, when the client hires the project manager to manage a certain project, there is a separate agreement between the two. We never know what agreement would that be. So if that is an instruction between the client and the project manager, that instruction has to exist in the contract between the client and the project manager. Of course, sometimes we use that language loosely. It simply means the client is talking to the contractor, is talking to the project manager. In the main contract, NEC4 ECC main contract, the parties are the client and the contractor. The client is not there to instruct. The client is through the project manager to administer the contract. And therefore, the project manager is the one to instruct a lot of things. And that is from the client side. And therefore, who can instruct? Who can instruct? The project manager may instruct a lot of things. Sometimes we just say everything. I mean, a lot of things. 14.3 is not the only instruction. The contractor may instruct the other people to attend an early warning meeting, and then the supervisor may instruct the contractor to search for a defect. If they instruct to search for a defect, they better find something. And that is instruction in a nutshell. Not every instruction is a clause 14.3 instruction. Some of the clients that I met, they got that misconception in mind, and that has an effect on the dividing day. So let me know if that is helpful for you. I will try to make more live videos when this computer will not play up later on. I will try to investigate why, but let me know what topics you want me to talk about. Subscribe, hit the like button, and then comment, and then I will respond, usually within 1 to 2 days. Okay, so I hope you enjoy your day. Goodbye.